What's up, everybody? It's Sid and Millie back with another episode. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
We'll be chatting about a show that we recently watched on Netflix.
hmm
Also, it's up for a Emmy,
Yeah,
right?
Emmy nominee,
Emmy
Emmy
nominee,
nominee.
so that's really exciting for them as well. But the
Facts.
show itself is called Tires.
Yeah, Tires with Shane Gillis.
Yes, a comedian.
Yeah, of
So,
course, he's like the big name associated with the
yep.
show. But yeah, we watched both seasons, and they have a new season coming up here in a couple weeks. So we kind of binge watched the entire first and second
Yep.
season, which was about 18 episodes. But they were short episodes; they were about 20 minutes apiece.
Yeah, it
Um,
kind of is. It gives like The Office, but like in a mechanic shop.
Facts.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly the sort of vibes that are.
yeah,
It's not like the documentary where they're like,
right.
breaking the third wall by
With
like
like the
looking at the
interviews
camera.
and like,
Yeah, so
yeah,
not exactly like that, but in the same sense where it's like we're following like the everyday life of Auto Valley Auto Shop
yeah.
or Valley Forge
I was
Auto
like,
Shop.
what's it called?
Yeah, I know. Just complete brain fart. Valley Forge Auto Shop. Yeah, is like
Yes,
the main central like point of the show.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. That's kind of where it all takes place,
Yeah,
basically, for
yeah.
the most part.
But yeah, like I was saying with the episodes, like they're very digestible, very exactly like Sid was saying, like office sitcom vibes where, yeah, you can really get into a flow state and just run through the episodes very
Yeah,
quickly.
definitely. And it also gives like early Office vibes where they're making jokes that aren't necessarily like politically correct, as you would say. Like
Yeah.
they make a lot of sexist jokes. They make a lot of like, yeah, a
It's
lot of,
very locker
it's
room. Yeah.
very
It's
locker
exactly
room.
what you would
Yeah.
expect in a very male dominated field where there aren't a lot of women voices and women in the field itself.
Yes.
Not saying that there aren't women mechanics and
No, of
such, but
course.
obviously, like, it is a majority male dominated field. And they're acting like that. Shane Gillis, especially, like
Yeah.
the dark jokes, the toting that fine line of comedy and offensive kind
Yes,
of
definitely.
constantly in the show.
Yeah, well, I feel like that's something that we've seen in a lot of these like comedy, especially with these big comedians
Yeah.
too, because there was the one with Tom Segura, that Bad Thoughts show, not to
Yeah.
go off the trail, but like that show was another one where they were kind of towing the line. But I think that is something that we also saw recently in the Kevin Hart documentary. What they were
Right.
looking, not documentary, but they were like following different comedians and they were talking specifically about that. I'm bringing it
Yeah.
all the way back around.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were talking about that, like good comedy toes the line between like, a topic that might be kind of uncomfortable or like a topic
Exactly.
that is hard to make jokes about, but they do it in a way that's tasteful enough where like you can tell that they know what they're doing.
Right.
They're like
Yeah.
making a joke about something that they know is offensive and they show that kind of uncomfort around it.
Right. And like the way they address things in the show, I think was like a really good way to do so. Because even in the first episode, right, they're trying to make women more comfortable at the shop.
Yeah.
And a reporter is coming in to report on this initiative that they're taking to try and improve the experience for women at mechanic shops. And essentially, in the reporter's questioning, he's like, oh, well, what are you doing in order to like push this initiative? What's your plan? Whatever. And the guy was like, oh, well, we put up the signs and stuff. And
He was
and the
like,
guy go
you
ahead.
put up pink signs around here and you thought that was going to make women feel more comfortable.
Exactly. Yeah. But isn't that like the reality we face every time it's a certain month, whether it's Pride Month or whether
Yep.
it's Women's or whether it's Black History Month? It's like all of these companies will throw up the flag
The
as if
just like
they're like allies.
performative. Yeah.
Exactly. But they're not actually leaning into like the values that would cultivate a safe place for those people. And the
Exactly.
reporter was able to call that out immediately. He was just like, okay, yeah, you put up some signs, but what's your actual plan to address this?
Right. And they literally didn't have one.
Yeah,
They did not
destroyed.
have a
Yeah.
plan.
And Shane was obviously his character making jokes at the guy being extremely sexist, what's the word? That men do to women when they
Like condescending or no?
nah,
Like
but like
what's the situation?
when you're like, oh, objectifying women.
Oh,
They
okay.
he
I
was
was like,
doing
they
all
do a
of
lot of
those I
things,
know,
so
yeah. He was doing all of those things in front of this reporter and he was just not having it. Which was kind of like Shane was a bit taken aback that someone else, another
wasn't
guy
like,
wasn't willing to, shoot the shit and do the locker room talk with him.
yes, he was
Yeah.
almost getting like called out about it. Like, that's not funny. That's
Exactly.
like, that's not gonna make women feel comfortable being here. Like,
Yep.
he was actually an ally to women. He
Yeah.
was like, this is not right to be talking about women this way.
Yeah.
And he literally was just like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Like,
and then,
didn't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, they're, bringing attention to these real world things that are going on that we face. And they're, joking about it. It's a great comedy. They definitely do a good job of joking about some of those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's kind of one of the nice things about comedy is that they can bring light to these real like world issues.
Yes.
And I think another one that we talked about was the gun.
Oh,
when Shane,
when he got a gun.
So they got like a
why?
Yeah, so they got a
Just
bonus
for fun.
check, and the first thing Shane decided to do was go get a gun.
He said he was going to. He said, "I'm gonna buy a gun." Well, the other guy bought a smartwatch.
I know.
And he went and bought a pistol, basically, and then brought it back to the shop. And that was just a whole mess because he just kept leaving it laying around.
And he kept pointing it at Cal.
And Cal took it way too far.
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, like he was fucking around
but
with it.
all of that happened because of the weapons even being brought into the shop.
And they were playing with it like it was a toy.
Exactly. And again, they were highlighting that real world thing of like, these adults that are buying these weapons thinking that they're toys, thinking that they're little playthings, even though you don't actually need it in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
We know most people don't actually need the guns they have. And yet, it's like a little plaything. And then in the situations they highlighted in the shop, it was dangerous. Like a customer got hurt and it went up the chain because they pulled a gun on a customer, right? So, so just dumb. Like crazy. And then Shane just left it in the shop also.
I know, yeah. And then eventually ends up losing it. But what I was going to say was just like his whole reasoning behind getting the gun was because he wanted to like be the hero if anyone ever came into the shop with a gun and started like shooting at people. But it's like, come on, man. I just feel like, not to get super whatever, but like, if there were actual gun laws and like common sense gun laws, there would be no need for anyone to have a gun out in public.
Right.
There would be no need for anyone to be a hero or anything like that because nobody would have guns out in public.
Yep. Exactly.
Seems crazy, right?
Which is kind of what we would want, right? It's just safe, right? Like we've never been in a crowd in Europe and been worried about someone shooting it up versus in the United States, every time we're in a crowd, we're like
looking around, checking our shoulders,
seeing if anybody sketchy walked it. You know what I mean? It's a different experience.
It's literally like, you always feel on edge. And so it's just like, it's just a ridiculous sentiment. So they also played on that in this show because he was like, going about this whole plan that he had. Oh, I'm gonna go and hide over here, and then when they come through here, I'm gonna pop whatever.
I know, he did do that,
dude.
Yeah,
and that's what all of these people who are bringing their guns out in public think that they're gonna do, and it's just
everybody wants to be a hero.
I know, but it's just like, yeah, sure, maybe it's happened, but again, if there were actual laws that prevented people from bringing assault rifles or some other form of like mass weapon, you wouldn't need anyway. I'm on a tangent.
And the last thing I would note on that also is that a lot of the people who have guns and are big gun right and gun like connoisseurs are also the same people that have like the blue stripe on their American flag and stuff. And my thing is that if you backed the police and backed the men and women who are doing those jobs, you wouldn't feel the need to have your own weapon because you would actually trust that they would do their jobs and
serve and protect.
Exactly. So yeah, anyway, so it's kind of like, do you trust them? Do you not trust them? Do you, but anyway, we don't need to go into the hypocrisies of that. But anyway, so that was another thing that they played on in this show. But again, throughout the show, they go through a bunch of stuff. The auto mechanic store is not in great shape.
Because it's owned. So some of the other characters, the main character. I guess there's like three kind of main people we follow. It's
Yeah.
Will, who's the
Like
manager now.
Right,
He's
yeah.
only been there for a couple months when
Right,
the show
when the show
starts.
starts.
And then there's Shane and Dave, and they're all cousins.
Right, yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's owned by Will's dad, Phil. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
So
so
it's kind of
it's like
like
a
a weird
family
dynamic.
owned, it's like a family owned business, and it's that very mom and pop vibe, you know, like the cousins, the family members are able to kind of get away with anything because
Yeah.
they're family and they're in the business, right?
Can't be fired.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like Dave has ridiculous antics. He's the cousin who's kind of like the boss of, you know, Will and Shane in the beginning of the
Right.
show.
Mhm.
He gets up to all sorts of stuff, but has unbelievable job security despite all that.
Somehow.
And same even with like Will and
Yeah.
with what's his
Shane.
name, with Shane, right?
Yeah, they both. I mean, Will gets away with being just bad.
Yeah,
He's just not that good.
just struggling.
Yeah. But and then Shane gets away with just doing literally anything
Whatever
he wants with no consequences.
Yeah, he just does whatever. He literally just does whatever.
So
but I have to say, like, I wasn't really familiar with Shane Gillis too much before this. Hadn't really seen him have like a MC role in anything.
Yeah. Randomly saw him in Drake's music video.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's literally what I was gonna say. Like, we saw him in the Drake video with Adonis, and we were like, isn't he in something? And then that kind of prompted us to watch the show, and now here we are. Like, we're gonna watch his stand up after this to see if we truly think he's funny.
Yeah,
but
see
honestly,
what he does on his own.
His disposition in the show is hysterical, though. Like, I love the like kind of like ironically dumb, like, you know, thing that he's doing. Like, I don't know.
Like,
I think
he's smarter than he makes himself out to be.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But because he, again, I mean, also like wingman things, but it's like his family's shop. He doesn't have to actually try or like do better than what he's doing.
Right.
You know?
And
like,
that
he
whole
can just
thing
skate by.
Exactly. And that kind of comes up later when, you know, his cousin is looking for like a future manager to like help, like a floor manager essentially, to help manage the shop, and Shane is just not interested in it at all.
He doesn't want the responsibility.
Yeah, he kind of has an existential crisis about it at first, but then he's just like, yeah, whatever, I'm satisfied with where I'm at. And then they did end up hiring Shane's like friend from school in that position temporarily.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was crazy. He did amazing. But he had like come from his own Windows business or something.
Right.
Yeah, he did amazing.
Yeah, he made sales. He made yeah. He was using that powdery.
Yep.
Yeah, that powdery
substance. But he had like tried to get Shane to go work for him at his window business.
Facts.
But in the earlier on like the first episode, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then he was like trying to get Shane to go there, and then Dave, the cousin, was trying to get Shane to go to like a different store.
Yeah,
there was like a whole
store,
there's like a whole competition between those two stores.
Exactly.
Because there's the threat of one of them getting closed. Yeah. Is that the first season or the second season?
I think some of that is in season one, but yeah, definitely in season 2 as well.
Okay.
There were a lot of different.
Yeah, there were so many things that have happened. But
yeah, because
anyway.
they like throughout the show, they're doing different like sales initiatives. It starts off with Will, the son. He like over ordered their tires, hence the name of the show, Tires. So they have a huge buttload of tires that they're trying to get rid of. So essentially, the entire first season, the first 6 episodes, are them trying to find ways to offload this tire surplus they have. So they're trying different sales initiatives, trying different things. They do a freaking bikini car wash at one point.
Yeah, which the dad was
sexist.
not happy about.
That was crazy. Yeah. And that was a whole situation.
So Will, the manager, like the owner's son, slept with one of the women from the bikini car wash, and like that part was kind of like demoralizing to women as well. That was definitely like, they made it funny, but it was also just like they were talking about the smell, and it's like I don't know, that part was a little bit dirty,
I mean it is a very crude humor show. Like, if you don't like that like crude kind of like, again, locker room, but like men's locker room, like, you know what I mean? Like it's very crude in that way. Like it is
Yeah.
a very like male centric humor.
Definitely.
Um,
Very, very, like, also just like immature humor. Yeah.
exactly.
Very like
Yeah.
male immature humor. So
Exactly.
prefacing that to say, like, they were talking about and joking about how he smelled really bad after he went to her apartment or whatever and like slept with her. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was like a whole thing from the bikini car wash. That was like an extra thing they
Yeah.
played on for a long time.
A long time, yeah, because it came up later when he went on the radio and became known as the clitoris doctor.
Yeah.
Which is a whole crazy segment in season 2.
Yeah, that was
but yeah,
crazy.
and I feel like even with their ideologies, it's also pretty funny because obviously none of them really are like getting women.
Yeah,
like they're
no.
all of them make their different passes at women, and they're passing all of these sexist jokes and they're saying all of these things. Meanwhile, they're all lonely. They're all not with a like partner or anything stable.
No.
So that's also like a kind of ironic thing because it's like, you know, you guys are chatting like this, but
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't if you had a woman in your life.
I know, truly, except for Dave.
Yeah, except for Dave.
Married and cheating on
Dave
his
is
wife.
a character. Yeah, wow, what a sleazeball.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's
He is
probably
a
how they wrote in
sleazeball.
his
Yeah.
character. Just straight sleazeball.
Literally, for the like the auditions,
Yeah,
they were literally
yeah.
like, yeah, we need someone who's ready to act like a sleazeball.
Facts.
Literally, because
Yeah.
he is like cheating on his wife with one of the women at the stores, and like the woman at the store cheating on her man with him.
Crazy.
But I mean, how?
Yeah, and I mean, just how. That's all I'll say. Just how. Just his personality. That's
His personality.
enough. I won't
is
even
horrible.
like nothing about the way.
No,
nothing.
but
just his personality.
I'm like, bro,
crazy. And then so the first season again, it was only 6 episodes, so it was a very short watch. I mean, you can knock out the first season
in a day.
Facts.
Literally easy. They're like 20-minute episodes.
Yeah, but essentially, this first season is coming to a culmination because this plan to sell off the tires is not going well. And the dad is trying to retire, we find out. So it's kind of, those are the types of things that are happening throughout season 1. So they're kind of battling that, like, the son wants to expand and sees a future for this company and for, the family-owned business. But meanwhile, the dad is trying to get out of the business. So he's getting frustrated by all these mistakes that are happening and all of these crazy events that are happening.
Yes.
So the dad gets there and we see him for the first time in episode 6.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
And yeah, he was just livid. He was just like, eat the cake. Eat the cake. Yeah, right? Because it was after it was when the, what are those guys called?
Oh,
where are
the guys at the other shop?
Yeah, I thought I texted you their name. Wops, the Wops.
I know that.
When the when the Wops showed up, they like brought him a cake to celebrate the fact that he had.
That's right.
And that's when the dad walked in. You seen that?
I forgot about that.
It was crazy. He was so pissed. But then Loki, the dad, was proud like an episode later. Yeah, those guys are annoying. I didn't get their names, but
I forget
they're an interesting pair. Every time they're on screen, as soon as you see the red shirts, just know, just tune it out.
Yeah, it's gonna take everything and then make it worse.
Yeah. I mean, so that's essentially like season 1.
Yeah.
But that kind of brought us into season 2 where there, again, just so many things were happening.
Yeah, which I guess season 2 is when he bought the gun.
Right, yeah, with the bonus money, because that was the first time they had gotten a bonus. But then they had like these HR courses, right? Because the dad was trying to get insurance for the mechanics at the shop.
Okay.
But in order to do so, they had to pass and get certified in an HR course.
Yeah, which was about sexual harassment.
Right, because like we've been saying, the chatter in there was insane. The woman who was teaching the class almost left,
almost left, and then I forget what happened.
That was the episode that Dave's wife found out.
Yeah.
So like they were like nervous trying to
because didn't the HR woman like punch her in the face or
Yeah,
something.
like slapped her in the
That's
face.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, so yeah,
yeah,
because his wife was looking for
right.
him, calling the shops and everything.
Exactly. And honestly, the HR thing, it was going moderate until Shane got out there. He just
Yeah.
set them off on, he just started wildfires
I
everywhere.
know, yeah, because he like started going through well, after the whole thing.
Well, that was when she was gonna leave, right? He
Yeah.
like came and apologized and like said that he was, just effing around before, but he was
Yeah.
actually gonna help her. But yeah, they barely went through the presentation at all.
No, they
The guys
couldn't.
were having like reactions to cartoon images of women, like
It's so sad.
yeah,
So immature. Just again, immature.
yep.
Immature, just like male humor. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
So,
So that was like the HR
yeah.
episode. They had like the inspection episode where they had the black mold.
Oh my gosh. And
Um,
then Shane was going through a whole existential crisis because of the black mold. And
yeah,
that's when he met the woman Kelly as
yeah,
well.
yep,
That was a
exactly.
whole thing.
Yeah, which we don't with Kelly anymore, as
Facts.
we know.
I mean, it was like a whole thing, right? Because there was never any communication between them of like,
Of
we're
course not.
boyfriend and girlfriend.
Of course
We're
not.
exclusive.
Shane just referred to her as his
Yeah.
girlfriend before they had ever like taken that step or stated
Yeah,
that.
literally. Did they even go on a date? Maybe one.
I don't even know. Yeah.
But yeah, so the black mold episode is when he met Kelly because he was going through his whole existential crisis and
Yeah.
she was basically just like not allowing him to do that, I guess. She literally met him for the first time and was like, well, hope you don't die from the black mold.
Right.
And he loved it. He loved it.
Yeah, their humor like matched up well
Yeah.
for him. But yeah, there's been so many things. They had like the tire expo
What
that
was
they
the
went
tire?
to.
Oh,
That was when they were
my
gonna place that big
gosh.
order and then had to take it back on
Yes,
stage.
that is right.
That was
Right, because the guy, the tire guy and
Mhm.
Will were like great friends. Like
Yeah,
became
like
great
besties,
friends, and then
facts.
like yeah, they had to essentially pull back some order that he was gonna make.
Right.
I forget the whole details of
something
that,
like
but
that.
something happened.
But yeah,
and
there's
then,
all of these like side quests going
yeah,
on. But with the business itself, so Will's dad is actually retiring, and Shane's dad ended up buying the business throughout in season 2, as an attempt to get closer to Shane. So we
yep,
kind of get a little bit of their dynamic with Shane and his dad and how their relationship isn't healthy.
yeah.
And so yeah, so again, it's kind of like that family business. They're struggling through the highs and the lows.
Yep, for
Um,
sure. Yeah, the dad has a really hard time like leveling with a lot of the guys at the mechanic shop because
Right.
he's trying to come at it like it's a well functioning business, and they're all just
Right.
like, bro, we just work here.
I know, yeah. They don't
Like
know
he's
what's
acting
going
like they're
on.
all sold into the company, but they're
Right.
just like, I'm a mechanic and this is a paycheck for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he had a reckoning with that of like how to even run this business
Yeah,
because he couldn't figure it out at first.
exactly.
But yeah, like he was actually trying to build his relationship with Shane, which was really
Yeah.
cool to see as well.
Exactly, yeah. And so like we say to say like, it is a comedy show. There are a lot of laughs. There are a lot of that like dark, male locker room-esque humor. But there is a lot of those wholesome moments as well that the show brings, where you can kind of see people in the show really doing like nice things for each other. One of my favorite examples was when Shane, made the fleet deal with the Watt brothers in order to buy Cal a replacement of the car
Yes.
that he had worked on that the ex-race car driver crashed.
Totaled, yeah.
So that was like really cool. Shane like went and did that.
Yeah, and Cal goes, I love you.
Yeah.
And they actually had
Well,
such a
Shane
sweet
said it
moment.
first. But,
Oh, I thought
but
Cal
yeah,
said it
no,
he
well,
bought him a
because
car.
Shane, Cal first was like, "Can I give you a hug?" And Shane was like, "No, dude, what the fuck?" Like, like being all whatever. And then Shane afterwards was like, "I love you, dude." And then Cal goes, "I love you, man," and like hugs him. Yeah, so it was like a cute
Yeah.
little moment in there.
Facts.
I also really liked when like the dad came into the office in that same episode. It was the season finale of season 2. But the dad came in and he was like, "All right, guys, what are we going to do? How are we getting out of this? Like, we're in this together. We're not going anywhere. What's our path forward or
Yeah.
whatever?" Like that was really cool. because that was one of the things Shane was worried about.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, he was worried that his dad was just going to come in and then at the first sign of trouble, he was just going to sell the business and get
Yeah.
out of there, basically.
Right, and then screw all of them over. So
Yeah.
that was like, yeah, Shane's worry.
Facts.
So that was like a really cool full circle moment when his dad really kind of like proved to everybody that this wasn't just another one of his businesses, but that he actually like cared about it.
It's for the family.
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
Yeah, he had a really good character development because he went from the beginning of just like not even understanding Shane as a person, trying to like set him up with a waitress that he sees all the time, making that whole like relationship. Obviously it's like a client waitress whatever relationship, but they were cordial, but now it's awkward. So like immediately started off on a negative foot with him and his dad, but his dad really stuck around and stuck it out to build that relationship and try and like be closer to his son.
100%. So there's a lot of good like wholesome moments in the show as well, which I think people can all kind of relate to, like the adult parents with adult children, you know, having a hard time meeting that connection with your children. Like I feel like a lot of people out there probably can relate to that. And so it was pretty cool that they brought those elements into the show as well. And especially with Shane being kind of like a wild horse, you know, there was a point in the show where someone asked him like, you know, when are you going to stop like trying to screw the company over and start like helping? And I think that was also like highlighting Shane's character development as well, because, you know, he still takes his liberties, but he definitely was putting in more effort to actually help the family business instead of messing with his cousin full time.
Literally, or just like being lazy and not actually trying and everything. But he had really great character development and like a good character arc and everything.
100%.
So I think they've done a really good job, and I think it is kind of one of those shows where they could keep it going and just have like different situations and things, like as long as they don't try and do too much with the storyline, you know, this could be another one of those shows like Abbott, like The Office, like, you know, Parks and Rec, like you can have a lot of different elements, a lot of different seasons,
and that is the nice thing, because like every episode is so different, you know. They don't, you know, obviously there's like a base storyline we're following, but you know, you don't have to necessarily watch every single episode in order to still enjoy the show and enjoy the laughs and stuff. So shows like that have so much potential because yes, the longevity could potentially be crazy. And I think Shane Gillis has done a great job with this show. Whatever his involvement is, I think, you know, he's hysterical and he definitely shines in this environment.
Absolutely.
It fits his like humor, definitely.
100%. And I fully agree with that. I feel like it is another thing where it's like the show grew on us as well. The more we watched it. Because we were at first like, whoa. Because it starts off on a very like they get into their jokes early, like they tell you what the show is going to be like early.
My bad.
No, that's okay, that scared me. That's okay. They basically tell you what the show is going to be like early, so you're not jump scared at any point, like you know what you're getting into. So I appreciate that element as well, because you know it took us a little bit to get into it,
because we had started it and then we stopped and left it in the continue watching for a while, and then we circled back, started it. But even this most recent time, you weren't really fully into it at first, and it took like a couple episodes before you actually were like, all right, this is kind of funny.
Exactly. And I really liked Kyla's character as well. She is funny.
Definitely.
Super just like doesn't give a shit. And
exactly.
You know, being a woman in that field, you kind of have to be that way. She was kind of, you know, didn't let anything that they said get to her, and she also gave it back to them. So
exactly.
I love to see that.
She was a good character for sure. And even the fact with like Dave's wife and stuff, like actually filing for the divorce and things like that. Like I'm glad that they are highlighting like, there are real world consequences to these things. You think you're having a little work fling, boom, now you're living in an RV behind your work. You know, but that's the reality, right?
It is the reality, 100%.
Because I feel like a lot of shows and movies don't really give people the tangible impact of what happens when you're like from infidelity, you know?
100%. But it is good to show that, because there are consequences to said actions, and like that's not just something that people should take lightly at all.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it is good that they portrayed something like that in this show, but also, you know, portrayed also the wife's emotions and like how she
Yeah,
was
when she
taking
was
it.
hunting him
She
down.
was literally hunting him down, and that's so real. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell do you mean you're having an affair with someone you work with?
Yeah.
What?
Facts.
So
Crazy.
she went for him, and I appreciate that. She
Yeah.
did misidentify
Queen shit. Yeah.
She did misidentify the HR woman as the a fairy, I guess.
I know. Yeah.
But she was wrong and did get slaps.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
but see that to say, she went for what she needed to do, getting her divorce, and yeah. So love to see those real world consequences as well.
Yeah, yeah. So they really did a good job. They've done a lot of stuff in the show. I can understand why it's up for an Emmy nominee.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the Emmy
it's
is
an award for
but
something.
yeah, it is an award clearly for shows that are very good and making an impact. So I think this one clearly is doing so. And yeah, we gave it the love this title rating on Netflix.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely be watching season 3 when it drops here in a couple weeks. But yeah, we figured we'd kind of chat about it beforehand just because we just finished up seasons 1 and 2.
Yes. So yeah.
So we'll see what season 3
see
has
what
in
season
store.
3 is like, and then we will get. I was trying to see what the Emmy was for.
What'd you find?
Okay. They got the Emmy, or well, they're nominated for Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Comedy or Drama Series.
Okay.
An animation for the episode The Tri-State Mid-Market Tire Expo.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I want right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
Interesting.
right.
Okay.
I guess I don't remember the animation, but
yeah.
Cool. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Hey, they're nominated for something. It's a good enough show to be nominated for.
Yeah.
But yeah,
nothing else. The cinematography and the animation.
I guess, yeah, in that one episode. But yeah, we've been enjoying it. We'll see what season 3 is about when it comes out. But yeah, that's kind of what we thought about the show Tires. Do you have any closing thoughts or?
I don't think so. Yeah, just excited for season 3 to see what it brings. See if we're still feeling as excited about it. Or confident in the storyline. So yeah, I'm excited to see what season 3 is like, and if it's good, you'll probably see us back here. Facts.
Shane Gillis is definitely growing on us. So yeah, he's hysterical. So yeah, I'm excited to see what season 3 is. And yeah, I'm gonna go check out his stand-up now. So see what that's about too.
Yeah, see what it's about.
But yeah, so thanks for joining us. This were our thoughts on Tires. It is an Emmy nominee show on Netflix. Season 1 and season 2 are already out. Only 18 episodes, 20 minutes apiece. Not too bad of a watch. We recommend. We're going to be keeping an eye out for season 3 in a couple weeks. So yeah, thanks.
So yeah, if you made it this far.
Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.